Greetings to all. Our Dario at Anthropic, who is the title of today's podcast, is a new character in a Marvel action adventure joint in my adult brain, and he is the Sentinel, because Dario is the only member of we'll call them the AI tech bro folks. Sam Altman, who is not covering himself in glory, and the rest of them are all full on money grab, energy grab, data grab. Everything is as fast as possible because they know, much like Bibi Netanyahu in Israel, that when Trump is gone, then the free ride is over. Right? And so here's Dario, the Sentinel, the one man in this, and I'm saying man because he happens to be a man, and most of the leaders of these companies are unfortunately XY chromosome types. But he is the one leader that is viewing the challenges of AI in the world, defense, employment, in every aspect through a moral lens. He's there to make money. He would say that. Any reasonable person would. He's not doing it. This is not AI is not a wholly altruistic endeavor for Dario. But he's the one that is brave enough to put his head up and say, no. If you're going to use our product, you're going to follow our reasonable guidelines and guardrails. And of course, Pistol Pete Hegseth from the Department of Defense. Don't say Department of War Department, because that's not what it's called according to the law. It's Department of Defense. And if you say War Department, Department of War, that's like slandering DEI or saying she was a DEI hire or waste, fraud, and abuse. Those are things that are used by the MAGA faithful to signal one another that you are a sympathetic follower of the cult. So don't say that. Don't say Department of War. It's inaccurate and unnecessary, and it's kind of like bootlicking for Trump. So don't do that. It's bad for you. It rots your teeth. So Dario is standing up, and as you've probably read, Pistol Pete Hegseth has given Anthropic until Friday to sort of take the guardrails off of their AI product. It's the most advanced and most useful. It's the one that helped the Defense Department and our special forces in Venezuela to pull off what was an immensely impressive and clean operation. I mean, dead people on the ground, but according to the reports, which you have to take with a grain of salt because they're coming from another effing game show host like Pete Hegseth, but one American serviceman took a bullet to the leg, which I would imagine is not an enjoyable experience, but it's better than losing lives. So it was a success from that respect. They extracted Nicolas Maduro, and we may be seeing him. Maybe he'll be on a billboard in Atlanta before the midterms saying that I knew all along I participated in vote fraud from Venezuela, and I tried to steal the election for Hillary, Benghazi, Kamala, or something like that. So we're going to salute Anthropic for hopefully sticking by their guns, because the entire system of controls, what we're essentially saying to all of the founders is, you all, as long as you pay me off DJT, you can do whatever you want as far as accelerating AI without guardrails. And if some people get hurt, that's the price of capitalism. That's the default. I mean, it's they say it explicitly and in 12 different ways, but the Trump administration has destroyed any of the administrative agencies that would have overseen this. Mr. Sachs, who is the AI czar in the Trump administration, is not going to do anything to inject any responsibility into the progress of AI because he's making money out of it too. So it's a free for all. And the only people that can help put some controls in place are Democratic Party after the midterms. And as our, that horrible tragedy in Canada, where it was determined that OpenAI refused to warn Canadian officials that the young man was on a watch list, the one that eventually killed all those people, nice people in Canada. And this is something that'll be repeated again and again. The EU and Canada, being responsible citizens, will put controls on these companies, like Elon Musk, who tries to operate, balls out at all times, regardless, and despite any warnings or risks that just being a successful capitalist is justification enough for doing whatever the fuck he wants, which should be is no. But the Trump administration doesn't have anybody on board that will monitor, report, no transparency, and certainly not put in place guardrails that will mitigate. There will be damage, there will be harm. You can't mitigate every risk. But to take the contrary position that we will do nothing at all to even monitor, report, provide transparency in any way, shape, or form is the wrong approach. And our friends in Europe and in Canada will try. China, no. Russia, obviously not, because Russia is cheering this on and directing a certain part of it. Right? They are advocating, not, you know, does Vladimir Putin have indigenous AI superstar companies in Russia that are going to compete with Silicon Valley? No, does not. What he wants is the disruption, and he wants it now, and he wants it going into midterms, and he wants it again into the general in 28. And AI is that TikTok, X, and other platforms. So, what are we to do? We need to support our EU partners as best we can. We don't control the House, we don't control the Senate, we don't control the White House. Certainly not the Supreme Court. So we have to do everything we can. Our elected leaders have to work with our European partners to make sure that they put controls and hit back hard at the tech bros and make them feel a little bit of pain. Now, Donald Trump will threaten them like a baby mob boss will say to France, Germany, Belgium, Poland. I'm mentioning those countries for a reason because we're going to circle back. But our partners in Western Europe and in Great Britain, he will say to them, if you fuck around, FAFO, with my homeboys, the tech bros, then I'm going to double secret sanction you and harm you because these are my boys. These are the boys that are putting money in my children's bank account or crypto, money in their account. Yeah, I'm a little bit over 21, but you know what I mean. CZ has come back again, right? So our the business partner of the Trump's children, the man that Donald J. Trump pardoned. He paid a over a $1 billion fine. He was pardoned. He went back to his Binance. He's no longer the CEO of record, but he's running the freaking thing. He continued. He financed or helped to finance, facilitated the transfer of assets in Bitcoin to the groups that perpetrated the atrocities in Israel in October 24. Right. So he's responsible, absolutely confirmed that his Binance got the crypto to Hamas and Islamic Jihad that branch of Palestinian Islamic Jihad, who also partnered with Hamas for the atrocities. That this is a guy that helped with the financing. He's back in business in as much as he is facilitating the financing, moving money around for the Iranian Republican Guard, IRGC, right? So this just came out yesterday, I think, or the day before. So we have this shadowy money laundering machine known as CZ to his friends, because I can't pronounce Jing his actual name right this moment, but we'll just call him CZ. He was born in Canada. He's of Chinese ethnicity, and he is back in business and supporting terrorists that have interests antithetical to the U.S. and to Israel. Interestingly, going way back, and I know we talked about this months and months ago, but Bibi Netanyahu is, gearing up for an election perhaps in a number of months. And he still has not stood up publicly and denounced the US government, specifically his homeboy DJT, for pardoning CZ. By pardoning CZ, Netanyahu is already responsible for more additional deaths in the Israeli military by allowing the money laundering to continue for that period of time from when he was put on notice that CZ was financing Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad. So he knew about it, but he never brought it up because it would make his friend Donald J. Trump sad. And if you make Donald Trump sad, then he's going to cut back on the funding of the Israeli military, which would be bad for Bibi, and maybe Bibi will end up going to jail where he undoubtedly belongs. The dream scenario, of course, is that he and Trump could share a cell either in The Hague or in Danbury, but that's just me. Yeah. So we'll circle back and talk briefly about the U.S. government through Marco Rubio and Donald Trump has instructed ambassadors, U.S. ambassadors in France, in Belgium, and in Poland to advocate for reduced restrictions on tech bros. He's doing this on behalf of his campaign finance dudes, right? By saying, do not regulate Elon, Mark Zuckerberg, or Jeff Bezos. Do not place any regulations on these companies and these individuals. Do not sanction them, or I will get angry and have a grievance and increase the tariffs. Whatever the Supreme Court said, Donald Trump has 9 different ways of adding more tariffs onto any country he wants to in the short term. They may only last for 180 days, but they're enough to do some serious damage. So I would keep an eye on that, because you have your elected representatives advocating for the folks that are corruptly financing Donald J. Trump's children, right? So your ambassador Kushner, who it's not a coincidence, that's Jared Kushner's father, who was pardoned by Donald Trump and is currently the ambassador to France, who is over there advocating for the free speech rights of the Nazi Party, which is gaining strength in France, just as the AfD is in Germany. So it's a wonderful world. Your boy DJT, the man that gave the longest um, State of the Union address in U.S. history, if you stripped out all of the grievances, you'd be left with nothing, because it was just a 1 hour and 47, whatever it was, of grievance after grievance. If you participated in it and watched it starting at 9 o'clock and lost 15 minutes of sleep, bad on you, because there's this new invention called YouTube. You can watch it back, but why lose 15 minutes of valuable sleep listening to a game show host lie to you when you knew before you started watching all he was going to do is lie to you? So, bad on you. But wishing you all a beautiful day. Please do the restack and subscribe, and thank you very much for your time. Have a great day.